This is Alex, Countess of Sussex, just after she rushed to catch her train to Billings, Montana.
Where the fuck lip?
I was wrought.
What did he take?
He took everything.
At first, I missed it. But here, I'll rewind just a little bit. Watch Alex's left arm as she says, everything.
He took everything.
Did she just... Alright, full disclosure. I missed this, but my wife sure didn't. She watches so much of this show like this, but she shouted and gasped, "Did she lose the baby?" The answer to that is a big part of this 1923 Season 2 Episode 4 recap video, but there are so many other Easter eggs to get to. Honestly, this may be the most interesting Season 2 episode to date. This week, I gotta give major credit to you for pointing out the stunning connection between 1923 and Yellowstone, involving this guy.
A century ago, that journey took a year. Flights from New York could reach Bozeman in under 12 hours, and from Chicago in under 8.
No, I'm not talking about his plan to build an airport and a ski resort in Paradise Valley. I mean, yeah, that's a connection, but there's something even more jaw-dropping. Another fan of these videos found a clue that seems to make it clear that Spencer lives this year and for a long, long time after this show ends. Time codes in the description section as always, but let's get right to Alex, because I know nobody likes a video that takes 14 minutes to get to the reason that you clicked in the first place. I'd call that guy Bowler Cap in previous videos, but his character name is the Alabaster Man, and he beats the hell out of Alex and robbing her in the bathroom at Grand Central Station. Here's the important part.
Man, to think we could have had some fun. You're too skinny and too much trouble to...
As I watched this part a second and a third time, I really cued in on the sound she makes. Just go ahead and rewind it once more if you want to watch again, because it's pretty horrific. Alabaster Man stomped down on her midsection, and that's a big problem because she's 4 months pregnant.
He took everything.
She seems to know that she's lost the pregnancy. I guess we'll find out for sure in the weeks to come. But those of us who are obsessed with the Dutton family tree found this really concerning, because that's potentially the second time in 2 seasons we've lost the thread to modern day John Dutton. And I'm about to drill down on this. So if you get really sick of hearing about the 7 generations and who is John Dutton's grandfather, then use the time codes to skip ahead to get to Spencer's journey home and the evidence we have that he survives not only past 1923, but long enough to see America put a man on the moon. Last season, when we learned that Elizabeth Stratford was pregnant, we were able to build a family tree that looked like this. And I'll give you a second to look at it. You can see each of the 7 generations there between James Dutton and Tate Dutton. They're clearly marked. But then, almost simultaneously, Liz miscarried and we learned Alex was pregnant. So we created a new version that went like this. Now, this created some controversy and tons of people disagreed with me placing that extra generation between Spencer and Dabney Coleman's John Dutton, but it's the only way to get to 7 in my opinion. You can see I updated the photos here too to reflect how we know the characters today. Out of this, I came up with all sorts of theories about how Spencer and Alex will die, but the family tree still works. I think the best one is probably that Jack and Elizabeth adopt Spencer's baby, who would be named John after Spencer's brother John. He died in Season 1, Episode 3. Of course now, if Alex loses the baby, we're back to square one, except that... Holy moly, now she's pregnant again. So, we're back to this original family tree with no extra generation. Of course, I don't think you should be betting money on what's happening here for 2 reasons. 1, it's kind of dumb to wager money on a fictional pregnancy, but 2, we're only halfway through Season 2. There could be 2 more pregnancies and 2 more miscarriages. All that said, it would now appear that we're back to Dabney Coleman's father being Jack Dutton, with the baby named after his father, John. And I honestly like this best, except it means Alexandra is probably the one who doesn't survive the show, which I like least. I mean, we can all agree that someone's gonna die, right? And maybe I spent a little too much time on this, because last week I took to Taste of Country's YouTube channel and asked you to caption this photo of Cara Dutton, and Bob Cole 612 answered with, "I wish Billy Dukes wouldn't keep trying to kill us off. Touché." I'll hit pause on that and shift to someone who I no longer think is going to die.
Things inside, I'll give you a ride. Son, it's not a request.
Spencer had an eventful episode, didn't he? After watching his boy Luca get killed last week, he was left to head north on foot, where he was promptly picked up by the sheriff, who said he'd take him to the train station and lied.
You know, that Italian boy sure was a talker. Ain't talking anymore, though. I've met plenty of bootleggers. You don't fit the bill, but here you are bootlegging.
In actuality, the sheriff wants him to continue driving the illegal booze to Fort Worth, while he'll lead a sting. That works for the sheriff, and Spencer's able to get away and find a freight train heading west. Phew! Oh, wait.
Everybody's gotta pay.
Even you?
Not me.
What makes you so special?
I'm the tax collector.
Has anyone's death ever been more guaranteed than the tax collector's after Spencer says this?
How's half an ounce of lead sound?
After the inevitable, Spencer hops off the train and is again on foot, having not eaten a dang meal in at least 24 hours. As I watched all of this, all I could think was if only Spencer had taken that meal from Luca's cousin back in Galveston. They wanted to celebrate him, but he threw a fit. Nothing but bad things have happened since. It's a bad decision waterfall, but here's why I think Spencer actually lives through it. Do you see it? Let me zoom in a little and circle where it says 1969 Spencer, played by Gerard Sanders. That's the guy who once played Tony Stark's father or grandfather in Iron Man. And this is from IMDb's profile of Season 2, Episode 7, and it's definitely true that IMDb is pretty slippery with information, but as of now, it looks like we'll have a 75 to 80-year-old Spencer Dutton in some sort of flash-forward sequence. I gotta credit rjenkins66bj for pointing this out in the comments section. That's a great call, and it works with what Elsa said at the very beginning of the series.
My father had 3 children. Only one would live to see their own children grown.
Last week, during the episode 4 preview video, I predicted this would be the ugliest episode of the season, and I think I was right, although it wasn't as bad as I thought. In large part, this is because I knew they'd show Zane's brain surgery to relieve the subdural hematoma, and they absolutely did.
What are the chances he wakes up during this?
Oof, that was hard to take, but it worked. Yay, Zane looks to be good to go and ready to fight with the Duttons, who are quickly fortifying the house. I didn't anticipate Alex getting so brutally beaten at the train station, and as I rewatched that, it made episode 4 even uglier than it did the first time. I did think we'd get more of Donald Whitfield's sadistic bedroom behavior, and I'm only going to describe what happened because the majority of 1923 fans are like at Rita J and Jade 777, who says, "Why? Why do we need to watch filth to that degree?" I am with you, Rita. One of Donald's women, Lindy, accidentally kills the other one, Christy, while they're in the bedroom. She strangles her to death, and the person who gets the muddy end of that stick ends up being Banner, who now has to dump the body. We already knew how that goes down because of this clip from the trailer. The cool part of this is that it's the very first train station sighting, and we know that because of this conversation between Banner and Whitfield.
Right there, they've recorded a county with no township, no private land. All of this is still owned by the government. There is no judge, there is no sheriff, which is to say, there is no crime.
So, if anyone ever asks you who the first body to fall down the cliff at the train station is, you know it's a prostitute named Christy. Here's what I want to know. How did the Duttons learn about all this? I mean, right now it's bad guy information, and we know that the good guys win because we have 5 seasons of Yellowstone in the can. Presumably, a train station visit involving Dutton and Whitfield and his men goes bad for Whitfield, but I think there's another possibility that we have to consider. Banner seems to be really conflicted, doesn't he? Is there a world where Banner Creighton could turn on Donald Whitfield and end up as an ally for Jacob? This seems kind of wild, but the deeper we get into Season 2, the more it seems possible. This clip from Banner's wife got me thinking about it.
If you said that could be our castle, but you must throw the prince from the wall, I say, throw him from high enough that he don't try to steal it back.
What if Jacob isn't the prince? What if it's Whitfield? That would put Donald Whitfield's home on the right side of the law, which is important because compare his house with the governor's mansion where John Dutton is killed in Yellowstone season 5. It's the same dang house. Donald Whitfield's house becomes the governor mansion, and I think we find out during season 2. Huge shout out to @JT Gazaway1617 for pointing that out. I did not realize it on my own. I see what I mean? You guys were so good this week. Of course, the other big connection between Don Whitfield and John Dutton is Don's 3-part business plan. First, he wants to build an airport, then he wants to pave a road to Paradise Valley, and then he wants to build a ski lodge. Stop me if you've heard that before. It's what Dan Jenkins and Market Equities, or Marquette Equities if you'd rather, wanted to do on Yellowstone. Banner points out that all of these plans are for Jacob Dutton's land, which is basically why we're guaranteed a shootout by the time we're done. Whew, man, this gunfight better be epic. Staff at tasteofcountry.com, or just comment below if you saw something that I missed. We'll include the best of them in this Thursday's Episode 5 preview video, but first, I want your opinion on this. Do you think Spencer's current path is going to find him intersecting with Teona? She seems to be near Amarillo, and at the end of Episode 4, it's clear she'll be on the move again because Marshall Kent has plastered the town with posters of her mugshot. This woman Marshall Fawcett is looking for, and we know that she meets up with Spencer Dutton.
You're 30 miles from anything. Where are you headed?
Montana.
So, will Spencer help Teona? I'll include the results of this poll in Thursday's episode. Subscribers to our channel know that I love diving through the credits section to see who plays those bit characters, and this week I was kind of bummed I couldn't figure out who played the tax collector on the freight train. I did find out who played that tarred and feathered woman in Fort Worth, however. That was just the strangest thing in the world to me because there was no reason for that scene in the context of the show, and there was absolutely no reason for Spencer to run out of his way to save her. However, anyone who remembers Taylor Sheridan plugging in supermodel Bella Hadid in season 5 of Yellowstone may smile as they learn that the tarred and feathered woman was none other than Marie Wetherill, a supermodel athlete. Here's some BTS from her Instagram account. I mean, the man loves taking care of his friends, doesn't he? Hey, before you bounce, consider this video interview with Alexandra actress Julia Schleipfer. My Dutton Rules podcast co-host Addison Hager had a great 10 minutes with her where they talked about everything from kissing Spencer to how motherhood affected her character. She also tells a really good Harrison Ford story. I'm Billy Dukes with Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.